Morning, everyone, and welcome to Sunday Morning Coffee with Lisa. I'm Spiritual Coach Lisa Hopp. It is Sunday, September 6th, 2020. For all those in America, happy Labor Day weekend. And for the rest of you, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate it so very much. If you're new, please check out my website at lisahopp.com. That's lisahopp.com for all about me, all about my services, all about my books. And also, check me out on Facebook, on my Facebook business page under Spiritual Coach Lisa Hopp. And if you're coming to me from YouTube, great. And if you are on YouTube, everyone, please like, subscribe, and share. And for my wonderful listeners that are coming back week after week, thank you so much. I appreciate you guys so much. You have no idea. You just have no idea. I wish I could come up with better words or bigger words, but I can't. So, well, I haven't yet. But please do know how much I appreciate the positive feedback and the listens, and you as well. Like, subscribe, share, please. If you are moved or impacted positively by what you hear, please get it around, because this is all about service. And the more we all serve, the great service that we're doing, the better we're all doing, the greater our legacy. So it's all about helping people. And I'd like to throw out just thoughts to all of those dealing with the wildfires and just all those right now going through a tough time and stressed out. It's been quite a year. And I just want you to know that I'm thinking of you and all of us who pray and hope for good for all of our brothers and sisters are thinking of those. I also want to say that it kind of disappeared from the news, but anyone who was greatly impacted by the recent hurricanes, Laura and Marco, I think it was, sending some thoughts your way too. It disappeared, but there's so much going on every day that we can't keep up. And we're in a time in this country where there are protests nationwide, but as some of them do get out of hand with violence and such, and it did again last night in Portland and Rochester. The cause is right. The cause is just. We always have to make sure, though, that the cause is not lost by the events that can happen. We also have to make sure to understand, and it's going to happen tomorrow, that there will be people that show up just to instigate away from the cause, just to try to stop the cause by instigating violence and screaming and tensions and just overall negativity. And so we always have to make sure to not get drawn into that. Know when to back away, know when to stand strong with your cause. And I don't know how well we can do that, but I guess it is about turning the other cheek at times. So this week was actually a pretty good week for me overall. I hope for some of you it was a good week overall. I chose this topic today because over the weekend I've heard those who are having also very good weeks thank God for their blessings, or when something has turned out the way they wanted it to, gave praise to God. And I'm not saying, by the way, they shouldn't have done that. We always should be grateful for that source of God, our angels, our spirit guides, because they're always working to help us. They're always at our service. But I noticed a trend. I noticed that when things turn out the way people want them to, they think God came through. And I wondered out loud to myself, or just fervently, what do they do when things don't turn out? Do they get angry with God? Do they not bring God into it at all? Because all of us are here living this life and going through the ups and downs, the very boot camp that is living this life, and it is met with triumphs and disappointments. It's literally the purpose of us being here, those ups and downs. And so the actual topic this week is, what does heaven really do for us? What does heaven do for us? And it also extends out to when I've heard people say that there are people that are God's anointed and people that are not. People that are blessed, people that are going to heaven, and people that are not. And sometimes that's the very practice of a religion, is to preach that. I get in, you don't. And so that I extended out to further include that in this topic today. So I'm very blessed myself in that in my more than 50 decades of life, I can say not so easily, but still say easily, I've been very blessed to come to experience and understand heaven. I would never be so arrogant to say that I know everything. I will not know everything like you until I'm actually go home when my body wants to transition, when my soul wants to transition, when my body wants to expire. Then I will go home and I will know entirely everything. But I can say that I've learned quite a lot. And one thing I've learned is I would never say verbatim, 100%, who goes to heaven and who doesn't. I would never do that because it is not my right. It is between God and that soul. So even when I see evil on this earth, I will never say, oh, that evil's going to hell. No, absolutely. No. I do not have the right to be in that place of judgment. It is above my pay grade. How do we know that someone like Hitler or Manson or Ted Bundy, the serial killer, how do we know that when they passed, they didn't ask for forgiveness? They didn't grieve or have remorse for what they did. And whether we like it or not, as human beings, if you do that, God, that's enough. God will let you in. And that's very personal experience. None of us are there for their review. None of us on this earth were there and are there for anyone's transition over. We can only assume how it's going to go. In my work as a spiritual medium, it's one of the top things I do. When those in spirit come in, or I should say, one of the top reasons for why people come and want to receive messages is that they want to come and make sure that their loved ones made it to heaven, because they don't know for sure. Even if they know their loved ones were good people, served the community, lived good lives, they still don't know for sure. And they come with that hope for peacefulness that they are there. And the number one thing, the number one saying that the loved ones come through is with the first words are, I'm all right. I'm there. So if we cannot know if our beloved grandmother is in heaven, we cannot assume where Hitler is. We can't. We're only passing judgment. And once again, judgment is above our pay raise, our pay grade. But yes, we should always pray for those we love, that they are happy and at rest and at peace and have gotten their reward. And we do our best in this life to make sure we'll get ours as well. I will tell you, from what I've learned, it is really hard not to get in heaven. I mean, you really do have to be a pickle. You really do have to be evil and love being evil. That source loves us so unconditionally and so immeasurably that it wants us to be there. It wants to find a way for us to get in. The love is truly unwavering, no matter who we are. So that's something for you to keep in mind if you ever spend a moment worrying about that. I wouldn't say that unless it was true, because I don't say things that are really going to intentionally get me in trouble with heaven, because I want to get there too. And I worked it all out, meaning that I'm not intentionally doing anything on this earth to keep me out. You see, I was raised a good Catholic girl, filled with fear about not being good enough to be there, or having to go into purgatory and the offals of purgatory in order to clean me up, in order to be worthy to get there. And I can tell you that a lot of your fear is unnecessary. You cannot erase the fear of the unknown, but a lot of your fear is unnecessary. I also want to say this too, even though it's a bit off topic. It is important to pray for your loved ones in heaven, because they actually feel it. It's like a group warm hug that lifts them up. And there are levels to heaven. We're at one of the levels to heaven, we're at 3. And then you can go in a 4 or 5 or 6. And if you're, I guess, almost saintly, you can go in at 7 or higher. Or saintly, I should say. 4, by the way, is paradise. So they're not missing out if they only go in at 4. But praying for them can lift them up to 5 or 6, where they become even lighter and even happier and even more at peace, and just letting things go more, less baggage, no baggage really. And so it is the greatest gift you can give your loved ones is to pray for them. Please keep that in mind. They pray for you too, by the way. And they pray. When they pray for you, they actually will pray to the people who are with them. They will pray, or beings that are with them, they'll pray to the Blessed Mother Mary for you, even though they can see her. They'll pray to Jesus for you, for their intercession, for his intercession, even though they can see him. Because they know the power of prayer. So keep that in mind, please. Even if you don't see actual results, prayer is powerful. Keep that in mind. So back to the topic of what does heaven do for us? Does heaven pick a football team? No. Does heaven pick a president? No. We have free will. Does heaven pick a certain religious person over another? No. Religion is of man, not God. There is no religion in heaven. Fall off your chair all you want. Don't believe me. You'll find out. There's no religion in heaven. We have free will. Free will is a gift. Man will even use free will to scare us. Be careful what you wish for, you'll get it. Yes, you will get what you wish for. What that means is what you focus on with your thoughts and your feelings and your fears and your words will come to you. So you have, yes, be careful about your thoughts. Make them positive. Make them inspiring. Make them work for you. Do not say, I'll never have that. You'll never have it. Say, I am capable of achieving anything. I am lovable. I am prosperous. Grab your negative thoughts and change them in the moment. If you can hold some positive thoughts for 30, 60 days, just 30 days really, even 21 days, you're going to see change in your life of what you're attracting. If you're used to attracting a certain woman to your life or a certain man, that's what you keep getting. What we put out, we get back. What we say is brought back to us. What we believe is brought back to us. It's a cycle. It cycles. It goes on and on and on until we change it. And the gift is you can change it at any time. You can start today on this Sunday the 6th with a blank slate, rewriting your future. Isn't that something? That's the gift of free will. It can always be changed. Now, what cannot be changed with free will? Another's will. You can't write a blank slate and say, I now want my son to clean his room every day and he'll do it. No, you can't change another person's will. However, can you feel peace every day about how your son's room is? Absolutely. And then your son will pick up that piece about his room and then want to add to your piece about his room and suddenly start cleaning it up. And you'll go, what happened? I must have manifested it. Well, you kind of did. You kind of did. But you didn't do it by insisting he change or insisting it happen or making it part of your blank slate. You did it by finding peace. So we have that we can do, but we also have a mass free will. And the mass free will decide our elections this November. And that has to be, for a lot of us, the most frightening thing, group free will. Because we're afraid no matter what we want, the group might override us. But you still have power here. And I've been talking about it on my personal Facebook page with my clients. You still have power. You see, because you play a part in that group free will. If you are feeling positive about who wins, if you are feeling positive about your vote counting, if you feel positive about everyone voting, if you do your part in action to get out the vote, your free will align with the free will of others that matches you, and the free will win that you want. Keep faith, keep hope, don't give up. Don't get a plan of leaving the country if your guy doesn't win. Don't get jaded. Don't get, I hear too many people say things that are so negative. All politicians are the same. It's about the lesser evil. That's not true. That is not true, especially during these times. We're coming into times where 5D energy is coming to Earth. Heaven is coming to Earth. And I'm going to tell you, a lot of these politicians that are all about greed and money and their own self-serving ways, they're like dinosaurs. And in some way they become extinct. I'm not saying their body becomes extinct. That was not a threat to their physicality. They're going to go out of office. They're going to be weeded out. So please do not get jaded. Do not get feeling that your vote doesn't matter. Do not think that one is like the other. You have a power here. You have the power of your will, of your mind, of your senses, of your intelligence overall, of your subconscious, of that mind. You have so much power. Don't give it up and give away your power and be powerless. Use it and join together with the groups. The whole group vibe. So why did we have the outcome we did 4 years ago? Because people walked away. Because people didn't vote. Because people didn't care. Because of this very issue that could arise again. Not set in stone, not predicting it, but always can rise again. It's like 2 football teams playing the Super Bowl. And one is winning the whole time. And at the very end, what the other team gets a greater will, and suddenly they tie the game and win in overtime. Or maybe the game is really close the entire time, and you see another team just say, I'm just going to give it up. I don't think I can win this, I'm going to give it up, and the other team wins. That's why I never bet on sports teams, because it doesn't depend on how good they are as a football team. It depends on who has the strongest will. And so, the strongest will wins 100% of the time. So keep that in mind. Now, if you have a strong, strong will, because I hear these questions out there. You have a strong, strong will to get a certain job or to get a raise, promotion, and you don't get it. But Lisa, I had a strong, strong, strong will. Why didn't I get it? There's God's will. God's will always overrides us. And the only time it will override us is when it knows we can have greater. So you may think that that job or that promotion is what is right for you. Or maybe you just want a job because you don't have one. But you have a committee of angels and spirit guides. And sometimes ascended masters such as Jesus and Moses and such, and the God source itself that's watching your life and is hearing everything you feel and everything you think. And if it knows that it can grow you a bit, and it knows that what you really want is 2 months away, it's going to make you wait 2 months away. It's not going to have you settle. So keep in mind that when we lose jobs, there's a purpose behind it. When we don't get jobs, there's a purpose behind it. When someone leaves us, there's a purpose behind it. When a relationship doesn't work out, it means you're meant to upgrade. When things aren't working out, it means you're supposed to upgrade, even if you stall it. So that source in heaven is always wanting, desiring, and trying to help us to go higher, to go better, to go greater. And we have to trust it. And yes, it is hard sometimes. I've been tested recently with trying to get certified in the hypnotherapy practice, therapy method that I've been studying for a year. I took the test again. I'm fairly sure I passed it. However, I've been asking myself, why did it have to take more than one attempt? And I think it's actually, I figured it out, and I'll share it briefly. I think it's actually because it has grown me, but also it protected the teacher too. You see, if I had gotten it on the first try, to be honest, I went into the first test a little fast, ready to do it no matter what. It's not that I disrespected the teacher. My respect for the teacher was there at the very beginning, which is why I chose the method. Excuse me, I hit the table. But I think heaven protects her, especially because her good intentions. She has great intentions off of teaching students, and she wants the best students, high quality students, thinking like her mind, at least at first, and then they can make it what it is, but with always protecting her. And I had my take on it while using her method, and I think that would be all right with her. But they wanted me to take it to a new level of protecting her, of honoring her. And I think they wanted me to be even more perfect at it too. So it was kind of like a win-win for both of us. It was for my higher good and for her higher good. And this week I'm coming out of it with even higher respect and admiration for her, because I'm like, wow, if God loves you that much, they're not letting anyone become a teacher of your method, then you must be of a higher calling. And I more so want to be part of the team. And so when I get that passing that certification, which I'll share with the millions, whoever wants to know, it'll be everywhere. I might put it on my back and walk around with it, the certificate. It'll mean even more, because I would have felt like I was of a special team even more. And so if I had passed it at first, I wouldn't have felt that way. I had to reach for it more. And it was the way it should have been. It was the way she deserved it. And it was what that higher source wanted. And so when you don't pass the bar at first, when you don't pass the nursing exam at first, when you don't pass the physical therapist exam at first, there's something that heaven is asking you to reach for. And it involves you, and it probably involves another. But it means that you'll come out of it greater. It doesn't mean you're supposed to give up. It means that there is something greater that you're supposed to acquire, a quality to get ready, or skill to get ready for your ultimate service. And it means that heaven trusts you with getting that quality, getting that skill, trusts you with serving others. You're up to the task, or you wouldn't be called to it. But heaven needs you ready to serve its loved ones. It needs you ready to serve its loved ones. And so it's not that you're not good enough, or that you're not smart enough, not worthy, or not deserving. It's just that heaven says, I need to train you right. So keep that in mind whenever you get a stumble or an obstacle with a goal, with a college course, with a training at work, with a personal goal. Heaven needs to make sure you're trained right, but if it didn't believe in you, you wouldn't be called to it, right? So what does heaven do? Heaven does not anoint, but it loves when we feel called to serve. It wants to give us what we ask for. Ask and you shall receive. So it will help us. It will promote us. It will guide us along. It's a team. It's a team. It will honor our election results and say, okay, you asked for it, but I will continue to answer your prayers and I will protect you. I will lift you up. I will bring you over to the side to avoid things. I will not let you destroy yourselves. Even if we pick the rougher path, it will still serve us. But it lets us decide. It gives us choices. And it always forgives us. I want to say that again. No matter what choice you make in life, you are always susceptible to heaven's forgiveness, God's forgiveness. You will always receive it if you want it. And you will always receive it sometimes if you don't feel you deserve it. It is yours. And I don't say that with an ego. And I say that with 100% surety because I know. Because I know. And even traditional religion will let that slip out. The thing that's different is that traditional religion will tell you that you get forgiveness after the choice. I'm telling you that you're already forgiven before the choice. You don't think that energy doesn't know what you're up to? It knows what you're up to. It knows what you're going to choose. That doesn't mean you're off the hook because there are consequences to actions. There are reviews when we pass. There's also consequences when you're living this life. Karma. If you make a choice that is not best for yourself in the way of higher consciousness, you will reap the results. And it can be painful reaping the results. But what you put out, you get back. There's nothing to fear, by the way. Just try to be conscious of what you're up to. I know sometimes if I accidentally cut someone out in traffic, that I'm probably going to be cut out in traffic very soon after that. And I'll go, there it is. I deserved it. And that's small. And there are larger choices that we make, larger consequences. And sometimes we watch. We watch when someone does not get their consequences in front of us. Let's say we know that someone killed someone. And the consequences aren't there. They seem to get off scot-free. No, listeners, no. They're not off scot-free. You don't know. You may not see, but no one gets off scot-free. They will suffer. They will get the consequences in some way if they are truly guilty. It's like someone's soaring along, thinking they avoid obstacle, laughing. I avoided it, and then they slam into a brick wall. You never know when the consequence is coming. You never see the brick wall coming, but splat, plop, it gets you. It's natural order. It's natural law. It's not God angry. People always want to talk about an angry God. I would like to tell you that angry God does not exist. Only a just, loving God exists. So when you hit the brick wall of karma, it's because you had it coming. It's natural law, just like gravity. It was set up. What you put out, you get back. So don't think that there is an angry source. And you're laughing, going, look, the angry source got them. No, it was their own karma getting them. Their own karma. Please know that. And it distributes very equally, no matter what. And you shouldn't wish it on another because you're asking for it for yourself. Keep that in mind. I stop myself from going there because I don't want it coming back on me. And it's easy to go there sometimes. I know we're living in this world where there are awful people in this world, but we cannot wish the awful to come to them, no matter how easy it is, because we don't want any trickle of it coming around to us. Play it as good as you possibly can. So heaven's role in our lives is to help us to get greater, but not to manipulate us. We're not puppets. Heaven reacts to your everyday, daily, consistent thoughts, beliefs, and words. So when you every day get up and say, I'm working towards that goal today, that's going to be my life, heaven smiles and says, I will help you. When a mass will says, we're going to vote this way because we want to be this way, heaven says, I'll support you in what you want. Because I know I can take what you want and bring you greater. When you ask for your life to be expanded, when you ask for your chapters to be expanded, for your next chapter of life to be better, heaven will send you a way to make it greater, better, more powerful. However, that way could be an illness or a job loss or a relationship breakup. Heaven will bring you bad because ultimately it knows that you will have greater. That's why heaven works in mysterious ways. It's not always what you would ask for, bluntly or verbatim, or black and white. It works in unexpected ways, but it will always address what you're asking for. Free will. So heaven responds to the overall free will energy of the universe that we live in, of our earth. So there's been a seed, and the seed, the core of all of us, is asking for peace on earth. And that is solid, that is implanted, that is set in place. And everybody wants it. Every single person on this earth wants it. The issue is that everybody wants it in their own way. And they don't want it to be filled with change. They want to be them, but peace around them. Well, you can't have it that way. You can't have your ideal life and have peace around you, because your ideal life may mean that others are suffering. You see? So it has to be that no one is suffering, no one is held down, everyone is equal, everyone is honored. There are no hate. There is no hate, no bigotries, no prejudices, no greed, no rage, no, everything healed, everything solid, everything as one. That's what we're striving for. That's what we're striving for. So you have those working, knowing that that's what we're striving for, and working to bring that energy to heaven, and those fighting against it. And those knowing what's going on, but still fighting against it. So, ultimately, heaven is also helping us to get to that peace on earth, but it's also going to let us be us and come to it on our own. So, God is going to send helpers, but God won't choose one favorite child, or one favorite team, or one favorite religion. God doesn't play favorites like that, you see, because we're all God's favorites. But God will help us along the way as we work it out ourselves. God will carry us through our storms. God will send a helicopter when we're on our rooftop, trying not to drown. God will send an angel when we run out of gas on a mountaintop to help us. Because you know why? Because when we run out of gas on the mountaintop, we cry for help, just in our feelings and our thoughts. And the football team that wins, everybody inside is screaming for help to win, is trying to win, is hoping to win. It's really strong. So God says, okay, you 53-man roster, I hear you. You win. I'll help you. You're the strongest vibe towards, please, we want this. And we're stronger energy with our vibe of wanting this. And heaven responds to that vibration. But it's not just about groups. Your vibration is strong too. So the strongest vibration you put out, that's what God helps you with. That's what universe helps you with, universal energy set in place. Which is why when a child is returned home, we can thank God. Because that child was returned home with the help of God. When a child does not return home safely, it was still God at work. But there was a different decision between the soul of the child and God, between the two of them, and impacting the soul group of the soul. Remembering, not said coldly, everything happens for a purpose. Lessons to be learned, growth to happen. We grow through our greatest pain sometimes, don't we? I think all the time. So God will allow things to happen in order for mankind to grow. It's not that God wants it. It's all about when inevitably will be better for humanity and the soul that is impacted or souls that are impacted. They don't mind. They're happy to grow humanity as well. And they're always taken care of. No matter what may happen to their body. We often are taught that we're powerless to a powerful God. I tell you the truth today that you are and I are made, though we're not taught it. We're told it, but we're not taught it. They were made in the image and likeness of our source, of our Creator. God gives us a lot of power. You have the power to achieve whatever you set your mind to. And you are allowed to ask for help from that powerful being and from your angels and your spirit guides and your departed loved ones. We are not puppets. We are not powerless. This isn't a good or bad luck game. So when you see someone in your life, including yourself in the mirror, and you see them not using that power, remind them, do you know how powerful you are? Why are you spending time on that? Why do you think you have to go to a 9-to-5 job just to earn money that you don't like, that you hope to retire from, that you hope to hit the lottery and leave? What makes you think you have to wait for the lottery? All you have to do is ask for more. But heaven will wait for you to ask for it. So I want to be clear again here. I want to be clear. When you ask, heaven hears your request, not just from your words, but from your feelings, your beliefs, and your thoughts. A compilation. And responds to that. So when you say to yourself, Heaven, I would like to get that job at that company and earn that much. That is not the prayer, your voice, or your focus that God is answering. God is answering that compilation. And that compilation comes out, when I went to say little, I mean this. There was a moment before you found that ad about that job or heard about that job. There was a moment before that moment where you felt with your whole being and your frustrated words and your thoughts a feeling of, I want more, I want better. And that went up to heaven like a flare. That is what heaven responds to. It is not your words. It is that compilation, that moment prefacing your request. That moment when you went, I want that life. Heaven said, okay, I'll send it. Are you ready? You're not ready though. Let's get you ready. Let's build up where you are. No, you don't want that. You asked me for something greater. Why are you reaching out for that? I'm going to not let you have that. If you can hang on for a little while longer, I'll give you what you really asked for. That's what heaven does. Okay? When you asked for the better relationship and you asked for a compilation of it, you asked for the compilation. You didn't ask for the person that you're looking at with the face, the beautiful face, and the nice smile and the wonderful personality. You didn't ask for that. You asked for a compilation before you met that person. So what we do is we stall ourselves because we focus on that face. Don't focus on the face. Focus on the compilation. What you really want. That's what heaven's trying to send you. That's why it's not working out with that face. Let's talk about the last election. There was a divine energy to it, yes, but it was not all, this is what God wants. God sent it. You didn't have a say. No. There are always more than one path to an outcome. Do we choose the baser path or do we choose the higher consciousness path? Group will chose a path and heaven said, okay, I'll work with that. Ultimately, all paths lead to one outcome for our world, and that is that energy coming down to our world. It might take longer, depending on how we do it, but it's bound to happen. That's divine. No matter what you do, you won't be able to stop the change of it. It will come. But you might suffer more greatly before it does, depending on choices. So that's why it's so important for us to promote higher consciousness, positive energy, serving each other, understanding, education, wisdom, knowledge, lack of fired up emotions, just seeing it from an old soul kind of way. That will bring on that energy on time or sooner. So what's happening right now is that we're clearing out our dark shadows. We're being who we truly are. In case that surprises you about some people, that's who they always truly were. But they've got to be that now in order for it to evolve. We can't hide anymore. We can't hide who we truly are anymore. It has to be cleared out, vacuumed out, healed up in order for that divine energy to arrive. And while it's doing that, our mass will make mass choices. Your part in it is to use your powerful higher consciousness vibration to be a part of what you really want. And hope and have faith that other higher consciousness energies or people who choose higher consciousness will join you rather than lower consciousness. So don't worry about those who are being lower consciousness. Don't worry that they are stronger. Don't worry about that. Don't fear that. Just be you. Just be you and spread your higher consciousness. Because positive always overcomes negative. So it'll be like a wave. A wave that overcomes that lower consciousness. Always. It will. Even if it doesn't happen this year, it will. And we see it now. We see where higher consciousness is subtly at different places winning out. And it makes you smile. Just little moments where people are like, nope, I'm going to stand with the past. And then Mother Nature comes and corrects it. And you're like, oh, there it is. Higher consciousness won. And so higher consciousness works in can bring little rewards and huge rewards. This is a defining moment a couple months from now. It's a path, it's a crossroads. I'm as curious as you as to which path this country and world takes. I think this country takes it first and then others follow. And it's defining. It's a crossroads, so we will see, won't we? But stick to highest consciousness because it not only benefits the world, it benefits you personally. It's a win-win. But no matter what happens in November, God loves us. That's unwavering. And it will work with whatever we choose. It'll always save us. Don't worry. There's this fear that we'll destroy ourselves. And boy, we could come close. We could come so close. But you see, think about this. When we come so close, we will scream, help. Save us. I'm sorry, don't let this happen. We will get a response because prayers are always answered with what we want. But don't live vicariously like that, though. With that, don't be like, oh, okay, well then I'll make all kinds of bad choices if I know I'm going to be saved. If I have a safety net, don't do that because you suffer, and so does your fellow man, and that's not good. And there's consequences to actions. There's karma. It ouches. It pinches. It bites. So always try to choose the higher route. Always. Try to see the light in everyone, even if you have to really dig for it. Try to understand why people are protesting. Try not to get pulled into mistruths, games, scams, people protecting their own way of life. Back up and see the wisdom. See with wisdom. See what's the big picture going on. Back up, right? Because there's a big picture going on. And it can be amazing if you can look at it from a step back and not from a place of fear. Please keep that in mind. And please know that the culmination of what you asked for is a yes. So be careful what you wish for. Make sure it's good. Make sure it's great. Make sure it's huge. Make sure it's clear. Don't send mixed messages. I want financial freedom, but I'll give it all away. I don't deserve it. I'm not worthy. I'd love to hit the lottery, but I'll give it all away. That's a no to what you asked for. There's enough wealth for everyone. You know who doesn't know that the most? The billionaires. There's enough wealth for everyone. Ask for everything you want. And if you know that you're worthy of it and you're willing to follow your inner guidance towards it, you will have it. Same with health, same with love. I have been talking for an hour and I value your time. And I hope that you thought you spent it wisely listening to this recording. And I will not be offended if you had to listen to it over 3 different times. Remember that heaven is your co-pilot. It's got you. You are strong. You are powerful. You are allowed to make choices. You have freedom. Live a good one. Live a good one. And share your results with me. I want to hear them. Thank you so much for joining me on this Sunday. It's beautiful here where I am. And I hope you have a great day. And I hope for those of you who are celebrating Labor Day weekend that you're doing it safely, that you're wearing masks, that you're understanding that this virus, this pandemic is real. And you may be fine, but there may be somebody else who won't be fine through exposure, and that you're using it to serve mankind. To serve mankind. You think not only of yourself. I'm not saying you shouldn't have fun. I like to have fun. I like to gather with my loved ones in small groups with thoughts of social distancing in mind. That's all I ask. Think about that. Thank you so much again. Many blessings to all.